This is a quick video to show you how to set up the beach caster. The beach caster is a form of surface fishing that suspends a lot of your line out of the water with only the hook bait in the water. So the carp see it as less dangerous, I guess. They can't see any lines and looks just like a free offering. Really simple to set up, and we're going to show you that. Before we get onto the setup, you would also need like a vertical bank stick or beach caster rod holder, as the rod would need to be fished vertically, suspending the line down to the back of the float, dangling the hook bait into the water as you're seeing here. Beach caster is really simple to set up. Here's a few of the bits we use. To start off with, we thread on a big-eyed swivel with a quick change link. That goes on the main line first. That's followed by the float, so a pike float, buoyant float that you can thread the line through will work here, any sort of float like that. Then we've got sort of a buffer bead that threads on, and then like a sleeve. You can get these as well, they're quite thick, they're good, and that's just going to go over the swivel when we attach the lead. Lastly, just we're using a micro speed link, and that will just attach the lead. So we tie that to our main line with a pallet knot, grinner knot, and then we just attach our lead. Once we've attached our lead, you're going to see then those sleeves and that bead, that's all going to pull down, because when you do get to take the fish, the rig will come down onto the float, and this will just buffer it all. Lastly, after you've done all that, all you've got to do is just add on your hook link. Really simple. You can use what size hook and the bait you wish to use. It doesn't even have to be a surface bait, because it will be suspended anyway, so if you wanted to make it a bit more weighty you could, and test how you want it to sit in the water. Lastly, you want to put a little stop knot just above the float where you think the depth of water is going to be. So if you're fishing in 5 foot, at about 5'2", I'd put a couple of overhand knots in, and that would just stop the float from sliding up in the current or the drift and moving. Something that we've recently started using in our setup as well, instead of just attaching the lead to the swivel, is a heli safes on the end. And what that does is when you get a take and the rig hits the top of the float like this, it will eject the lead, making the fight a little bit better, and you haven't got that big leg bouncing around during the fight. That's pretty much how we set up the beach caster. It can be a bit fiddly and getting used to it. When you cast it out, sometimes you have to fiddle it just to get it sitting right. Float comes up to the top, just making sure, twiddle it a bit to make sure that rig is in the water, not dangling out the water. Binoculars are really handy for when fishing this rig. Doesn't work on windy days and that, but when it is the right conditions for it, it can be devastating. Make sure the fisheries you're using it on allow it, and you're not breaking any of their rules by using it. When you do get a take on it, this is a take on the beach caster that we manage. The fish will take it. What we'll do now is we show you the float end of that. When you get the take, you're going to have to reel pretty quick to make contact, because that float needs to catch up and come to the rig, at which point that's when that heli safe will come, and if you're using it, the rig will hit the top of the float, dropping the lead just below it. Hopefully this video has given you an insight into the beach caster. Best of luck if you give it a go.